Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening. Wherever you may be. Welcome to the stream. Oh, all right. I hope everyone's doing all right. We're going to jump right into it. So we've got a lot we're going to be trying to cram in today. So let's pull up our Trello board really quick and just see what we are going to be working on. So yesterday made quite a few changes to the layout of the game and how a few things function. So we used to have our player stats up here in the top left corner. They're now in the bottom left corner, and we've taken away the different modifications for the stats. We also removed the strength stat, which was a huge surprise to me. Kept luck, but got rid of strength. Still, luck is a little bit on the chopping block. We may eventually get rid of luck altogether, but for now, luck is still here. And then we moved our inventory to the top left corner, and we expanded it. So instead of having the 9 slots, we now have 15. So hopefully that will make it a little bit easier as you get further into the game, and as you're collecting more dice and trying to level stuff up. We also changed the dice. No longer, since they don't contribute to your stats, they are now like elemental dice. So you've got your fire, earth, water, and poison, and those you'll be able to use those to level up your spells. And so you can kind of choose what spells you're speccing into. You can choose if you want to be more of like a pyro mage or something like that. But ultimately, the way that you will use the spells, we've now also changed. So before, the cards only had 2 suits, which was basically just red and black. It played 0 anything into the game. It had, aside from just being visually different, it had nothing to do. So we changed it and made it so there are 4 suits for the cards. And then we have also made it so those suits correspond to different spells that you will then be able to level up, and hopefully it'll be fun. So, Tossin Khan, hello. Welcome back to the stream. Glad you could be here. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. How's your day been? And then we also finally got rid of this spot that used to just be a copy of the inventory spot over here, and we've renamed it quests. It might remain quests. We might put something else there. I don't know. Who knows? Time will tell. So anyway, so that's everything that we did yesterday. So today, I think what we're going to be working on is the safe place that the player can go to. So if you remember when we were working on, let's see, I might need to just bring up, where was it? Here we go. Tomb of Versilius map layout. So if you remember, with all of this stuff that we were working on, you've got the different nodes, right? So blue is where the player is or has been. Yellow would be a room that has more loot. Red would be a room that has more monsters. And then green is like a safe place for you to rest, relax, level up your skill, level up your spells, all of that fun stuff. So I think what we're going to do, I think we're going to make the safe room so that we can actually progress with that as well, so we can start getting the spell book built out and all that stuff. So, Tossin says, okay, today I'm telling you the reason I never talked about your game is I'm not really into RPGs and I don't know what is in it. Oh, that's totally fine. That's all right. You don't have to chat about the game at all. I just enjoy having you here. It's fun chatting with you. It's fun. I enjoy talking about your game too. Yeah, I'm just glad that you're here. So yeah, if you're not into RPGs and you've stuck around this long, I appreciate that so much. So yeah, honestly, just, you just being here chatting is a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. So hopefully one day, whenever we finish this game, we may switch things around and we may do something that's not an RPG. We may do something completely different genre. So Tossin says, I felt kind of selfish. You do not need to feel selfish at all. You are totally fine. yeah, if you're not into RPGs, that's understandable. Not everyone is, and that's totally fine. So, you know, I just appreciate that you've been here, that you've chatted. Yeah, I really enjoyed having you here. So, no worries at all. Do not feel selfish at all. Okay, so you can see giant rat here. Right before the stream, I was going through trying to find. So, like I said, I've got a lot of assets that I've purchased over the years. And so the ones that I actually went through to find the slimes are actually in this asset pack that I purchased. So it's got a whole bunch of monsters, right? So here's all the different slimes. I just grabbed a few of these, recolored them, all that fun stuff. So I was going through and I was trying to figure out, so you know, you've got like goblins, orcs, zombies, skeletons, werewolves, vampires, mimics, so many different monsters. The problem is there are no human-like things in here. So before the stream, I was trying to go through and I was trying to figure out, I'm like, okay, like would any of these things work at all for humans? You know, would, like I was looking at where were they? The vampires. I was like, is there a vampire in here that I could maybe use as like a human? I mean, maybe I could try and like make this guy look a little bit less vampire-y, but ultimately I was like, I don't think we're going to be able to use this asset pack. As much as I like how many monsters there are, I like the look of them. I mean, you know, you come in here and look at the minotaurs, like these guys look awesome. I think they look really cool. Now, obviously, you know, we'd go through, reduce their color palette to simplify them and all that fun stuff. But yeah, no human-like characters in here, unfortunately. So I do think we're probably going to have to not go with this monster pack, unfortunately. So then I was looking through another one that I purchased by Ichabop, and he's got some good stuff. You know, it's got some character portraits, which I was like, well, that's good. We would have character portraits, which would be nice. And there's also a monster pack here. And so I was going through trying to figure out if this would work as well. It seems like maybe not. So, and it also is very few. I mean, you've got 32, but there's like 2 color variants for each. So it's really only 16 monsters, and I would like to have more monsters than that in the dungeon. So anyway, that's why this rat is here, is because I was trying to go through and recolor it, see if I could simplify the color palette on the rat, and it was not working well. So Tossin says, okay, I have some would you rather questions for you, but before that, I want to know what is wrong with my game, what needs to be fixed. Well, I wouldn't say anything is wrong with it, but there are definitely some things that I feel like you could tighten up to just make it feel a little bit more polished. So the first thing would be, so on the menu, the first thing I noticed when you said that it was interactive is when you move around, the player animation wasn't playing on the menu. So making it so there's a player animation might feel pretty good. Let's see. I'm trying to remember everything else. So with the spikes, maybe having it so that when they hit the ground, so they either burst or they stick in the ground for a little bit, could be kind of fun. I think like player interaction would be fun. So if you could like block in another player, that way you're like, it's kind of like a more of a head-to-head instead of like a who can survive the longest. Could be kind of fun. That was not intentional. The player should not be able to win. Player should not be able to win. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I get that. I do know that. Yeah, it's the point of it is to just be infinite until you die, right? Oh, the player should not be able to move. Oh, on the main menu. Okay, gotcha. I thought you had intentionally done that, so I was just gonna say, like, if you're on the main menu and you can move, but okay, if you're not supposed to move, then that's totally understandable. Yeah, I feel like some player interaction would also be a lot of fun, because if you're gonna be playing with other people, being able to kind of like push each other or hold each other off, that way you can like, you know, if there's a spike coming and someone's running this way, you can stop them and hopefully have the spike hit them But at the same time, you could have someone who's pushing up against you, and then last second, they could go that way, which is going to force you to go that way, hitting the spike. So yeah, so having some type of player interaction, I feel like could be a lot of fun as well. But yeah, then other than that, I mean, the music, the song was really fun. With it not looping well and only being like 30 seconds long, I could see that getting a little frustrating for some people. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I felt like it was a really fun little game. I thought it was good. Dawson says maybe some power-ups that penalizes other players when thrown to them. Yeah, you could do that as well if you want to have some type of power-ups or something that other players can collect that makes it more difficult for other players. You could go as far as doing, and I don't know if you would be able to do this, but something like, you know, with the power-ups, you could have one where if a player collects it, it slows down all other players except for the person who collected it. So it just makes it a little bit more difficult to avoid the spikes. I don't know, a ghost power-up, so the person that gets it for like 30 seconds is a ghost, and they are no longer impeded by other players. Still can get hit by spikes, but the other players can't affect their movement. So, power-ups that paralyzes other players. Okay. Yeah, that works too. So kind of like negative effects on the items. That could be fun. I think that would be a good time. So, but yeah, honestly, you've got a great game there. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think just a little bit of polishing. And if you want to take whatever I said and add that, but if not, you know, it is your prerogative. That's your project. That's your game. You do with it what you want. Don't let anyone dictate what you should or shouldn't do with your game. And yeah, that's all I got. So nothing amazing, but hopefully it was helpful. Okay, so today we're going to be working on the safe room. So let's throw that into progress. So the safe room, I want it to be, it's going to have the same kind of look and feel as the rest of the dungeon, right? Tossin says, I think it will add them, but it updates after uploading it. Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, don't ever feel any pressure that you feel like you have to get something out ASAP. So I think we can use a lot of this same UI, right? So we don't need the map. We can keep the player. This bottom section here is going to be the interactions, right? So I think if what we do, we have it so you can move throughout the dungeon. Well, not the dungeon, but like the safe place. So you'd have a spot, or just take care of it all in one section. So what are we going to want to do here? We're going to want you to be able to heal, so you can rest here. Upgrade your spells. And then some type of shop of some kind where you can buy and sell dice. Yes. I was trying to think if we want to have some type of storage. I don't think we need any kind of storage. Yeah. I don't think we need anything like that. So, Tossin says, I have another idea on my mind. I will start on that maybe after a week. Oh, for a whole new game? Nice. Yeah, keep those ideas flowing. Don't ever push them down. If you've got an idea, go for it. Because whether you finish it or not, you're going to learn stuff, and it's going to be good. So don't ever be like, it's not something that I would ever finish, though. Doesn't matter. If it's something you want to make, start making it. And, you know, if nothing else but a learning experience comes from it, at least you learned. So we will want to keep this. We need to keep the inventory. The map, I mean, we can keep the map, but the thing is, if we're going to be going through different rooms, I think that would work pretty well if we had the different rooms, right? So the first room, or we just have one room. It's just one room. Your options are down here. You can rest to heal yourself, manage your spell book, which would then pull up here and take up this spot here. You could have a, like the store, which would then pop up over here. This is where you would have like the, you'd buy and sell the dice. So like you drag a dice from over here, drag it over to there. When you let go, or just trading dice maybe. Because again, we don't have a currency in the game, but we could make a currency. It would just be something else, something extra you're getting. So even if you're not finding the dice you want, you're at least getting currency that you could then use to buy dice. You could sell other dice to get dice, and yada, yada, yada. I think that's what we're going to do. Eventually, we might do... Oh, you could also complete your quests. So any quests here that are completed, you can complete the quests. Maybe that's how you earn the money. You don't actually get the money from the monsters. You only get the money from the quests. I don't know. Tossin says, bounce beyond next. And okay, would you rather let's go? I don't know what you mean. Bounce beyond next? I don't know what you mean. Would you rather develop a groundbreaking game, but it's forgotten after 3 months, or a game that is universally hated but talked forever? Ooh. I would rather make a game that is like everybody loves, but it's forgotten after 3 months. Because that would suck to create something and have people just hate on it for the rest of time. Like, I feel like that would be extremely demoralizing. So yeah, I would rather have something that I make that everybody loves for like 3 months, and then it just no one talks about it again. Yeah, I know that for me anyway, if I made something and just everyone was like, I absolutely hate it, it's terrible, and they won't stop saying how terrible it is, that would feel bad. Bounce Beyond is my next game idea. Oh, okay, awesome. I like it. What about you, Tossin? Would you rather make something that is groundbreaking and everybody absolutely loves it, but it's forgotten after 3 months? Or have something that just everybody hates, but they talk about it forever? Because I guess you could also use that as marketing for your next project. If everybody hated it, but everyone keeps talking about it, I guess people would always remember you and you could make something else. Okay, so how are we going to do this? We don't need to change anything with the player. We don't need to change anything with the inventory. So the map is what we're going to need to change. So let's, from the left section, we're going to grab inventory. We're going to put it over here in the right section on top of map. Whoa, there we go. Throw that right there. Okay. Then in the center section, we can hide the monster. We're going to keep the room, but we don't need all the doors. Tossin says, I don't want to be hated, so 3 months. Yeah. The hate, I feel like, is what would absolutely kill me. As much as I would love people to be talking about my project, I would rather not have people absolutely hate what I made. Okay, so let's do this. So we've got the room, but we don't need... I mean, we honestly probably don't need all the doors either. This is just going to be a safe area. I mean, I guess we can keep the center door. We got the floor, okay. And then the card area. We're not going to be showing any of those because this will all just be buttons and choices and all that fun stuff. Okay, so let's do... We got quests. Let's do a bunch of buttons. We need buttons. So let's grab in the POV card area. Those are the buttons. Let's just grab this guy, I suppose. I'm also trying to think of a different way to do the buttons. Because I like the way the buttons are, but I don't think... Because the reason why I had them color coordinated, right, is because attack correlated to red, health, doing damage, stuff like that, and then blue correlated to the strength stat, which would, you know, as you drew, it would add to your attack and all that fun stuff. So I don't think we need to have these color coordinated buttons anymore. So we may redo how the buttons look and feel, but for now, let's just leave them as is. So let's hide the buttons. So let's create a new folder. I'm gonna hide my camera really quick so you can kind of see what I'm doing down here in the folder section. So new folder, we're gonna call this safe room. Now in the safe room, we're going to have a button. Oh, there we go. It's like, why can I not see the button? Of course. All right, so we've got our button. Let's do... Well, let's go through the things we said we wanted to add to this room. So you've got rest. We will have a rest button. You know what? Let's actually just try and redesign the buttons now, because we don't necessarily need... Yeah, we don't need all the different colors for the buttons. So, how are we going to recolor them? Tossin on YouTube says, would you rather develop a game that's beloved by everyone, but you secretly hate, or a game you love, but no one else enjoys? So I made the game, but I hate it, but everybody else loves it. Or a game that I love, and no one else likes. I would say... I would almost say I would rather make a game that I hate, but everybody else enjoys. Because, reason being, I have always wanted to make... like, entertain people, right? For some reason, that's just always... It's always been something that I've always wanted to do, is be entertaining for people. And so, if I could create something that everybody loves and was entertained by, even though I hated it, I feel like I would still be fine with that so long as other people loved it. It would probably bother me that something that I loathe so much everybody loves, but yeah, I think I'd rather have something that everybody else plays and loves. But what about you, Tossin? So 82 is centered. And then I think let's change this to... Yeah? Maybe? Maybe not. Maybe a grayscale button's just not quite right. Tossin says, I hate everything I make, so definitely that. Well, you shouldn't be hating everything that you make. That's not good. But I do get it. I understand it. We are our own worst critics. So yeah, anything we make, obviously, we are going to not enjoy. But other people do, I promise. So you need to make sure you're not as hard on yourself. I promise what you're making is good. As much as I'm sure you tell yourself it's not, it really is. I promise. Okay. So that's... Do we get rid of the border, maybe? We could get rid of the border and just do... Well, we can just do this. Get rid of you. Just don't want the button to look like it's grayed out, right? And that's kind of what I feel like is happening here. I mean, the lighter text helps. Tossin says, I don't like Spike Zone that much, honestly. You're being too hard on yourself, Tossin. It's a thing that everybody suffers from, right? Anything creative, the person who made it is always going to be hypercritical of what they've made. I mean, I look at this and I'm like, what am I doing right now? Like, this is terrible. Like, why am I making this? Who's gonna like this? Who's gonna play it? It's something that everybody goes through. Anyone who does anything creative will always be critical of their work. And that's okay. That's fine. Honestly, sometimes what you need to do is take that critical thought that you have about your own work and use it to drive you. I've done that a lot. I've started so many projects where I, get so far into it and I go, this is absolutely terrible. I hate it. And you could either scrap your work and start fresh, try and make something you actually like, or you can use that to power through and make something that you do like, that you are proud of. More often than not, if you actually power through, you're going to create something that you enjoy. It may not be something you love. You're always going to be critical of your own work because you're going to see the flaws that nobody else can see. It's, and this applies to anything and everything. It's not just creating a game. It's artwork. It's anything performance. So acting, singing, dancing, anything like that. And the only reason why you see the flaws and the problems is because you've made it. How many times have you heard someone sing or watched someone dance? And afterwards, you're like, that was amazing. Like, congratulations. And they'll be like, yeah, but like I messed up in this part. This part wasn't that great. I can't believe that I did that. The reason why, one, you didn't see that is because you only saw the performance, right? You haven't seen the potentially hundreds of hours that have gone into the practice. And so the person that's practiced, they are hypercritical of all their mistakes, of everything that they're doing, they're hypercritical of. But as you as a viewer aren't seeing that. And so, yes, when you're creating something, you're going to be hypercritical of yourself, and that's okay. That is completely normal and natural, but don't ever let that stop you from making what you're working on. Because if you stop, the only person that it's going to negatively affect is yourself. Because you're the person putting in the work, you're the person taking that time to create what you love. And, it sucks that it's difficult, but I can promise you if you can power through and just keep going, you're going to create what you love and everyone's going to see it. And I can't promise that everyone else is going to love it, but it's better to create something and put it out into the world than to stop halfway and, leave it on the shelf. So I should start a motivational channel. I don't know about that. I just try to be honest, and hopefully it helps. But yeah, I don't know about that. So, but I appreciate that. Okay, it's not a great button. It does kind of feel like it's grayed out a little bit, and I don't like that. But I also don't like having the black text on it with having a lighter button. I think, well, we'll stick with this for now. And we will figure out what's going on later. Loki over on Twitch says, afternoon. Good afternoon, Loki. Glad you could be here. Welcome to the stream. Unless you've been here for a while, then glad you're here on the stream. We are just working on the safe room. So let's... yeah, we'll just call this good for now. We will just say this is what we need. Call it good. You know what I am realizing, though? I am realizing that... because you'll notice there's just this here, but there's more under here. And the reason why you can't see it is because it's the same picture as this background. So, what we're going to do... so how many colors do we need? We need 1, 2, 3, 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what if we go to here? Oh, I keep doing that. On the frame. Then we go with that one there. that one there, and that one down there. It does make it pop out a little bit more, which is nice. So, Tossin says, you like it? Why don't I like the button? It just felt a little bit too dark. It felt like it was a grayed out button, to where if you were the player and you were looking at it, obviously since there was just one button, I'm sure once I get the rest of the buttons, it wouldn't feel like this, but it felt like if as a player I saw that button, I would have been like, oh, it's grayed out, you can't click it, right? So I wanted it to be a little bit brighter so you could actually know and just be like, that is a button you can click. And I know it'll help once we get into the game, we program it so that it's when you hover over it, it highlights, when you click it, it animates and all that fun stuff. So Loki says, just got in during the speech. On lunch as usual. You have the lunchtime block on lock. Nice. Glad that I've got your lunchtime block on lock. Makes me feel very appreciated. So thank you. Yeah. I was giving a rousing speech to Tossin over on YouTube. I'm trying to hopefully inspire him to keep working at his projects, keep doing what he's doing. Yeah. Okay, so we've got the rest button. So again, like we were saying, so in the safe room, you want to rest, which actually, now that I'm realizing it, we should be writing this down as we're going. So create rest function. So these are the things we're going to need to create in the safe room. So rest function, there we go. So the rest function. After that, we want, well, what other buttons are we really going to need? So you got the rest. You don't really need to do, oh, the spell book. That's right. So we want a spell book. Let's come over here. We'll do spells. We'll move down. Let's do 16. Yeah, I feel like 16 should be good separation. So 16, this is going to be your spell book. Would spell book be one word? Spell book? I think so. I think spell book is a word, so. Okay, so rest, spell book. I guess if you're going to be pulling up the spell book to cover this up, you would need to have another button for the shop. Oh, so then, okay, so we already have create spellbook though. So create rest function, create spellbook. So then over here, we have got, if we go 16 apart, this is going to be the shop. So the shop, you can buy and sell your dice here. That'll be good. And then I think the only other thing that we would need, so you got resting to restore your health, spellbook to upgrade your spells, shop to be able to buy and sell. But will you need to actually pull that up? So when you click spellbook, it's going to cover up this main section here. And it'll show you what spells you have, where they currently are, leveled, all that fun stuff. The shop will still be here. That's not going to get covered up. So maybe we don't need to have a shop button. Yeah, maybe we don't need the shop button. So you press spellbook. It'll open up the spellbook here. Shop will still be there, though. And then you would have the leave button, like the teleport button. Oops. That there. We'll just call it leave for now. We'll figure out something later, but all right, leave. Perfect. Okay, rest, shop, spellbook, leave. I think that's good for now. I feel like having 4 options will be good. Yes. So let's make sure this is all centered and all that fun stuff. 104 would be 52. Okay, perfect. So let's rename this from inventory to shop. We do I/sell? I don't know, something like that. I think the other thing... Oh, that's right. So the quests. Should we just have... So when you finish the quests, you have to turn in the quests, right? So maybe instead of having the shop... Actually, so what I'm thinking is... So you got your rest button, right? You click rest, it recovers your HP. Do we need to have a specific button for that, though, or should it just be when you enter the safe room, you heal? I think we'll just have it so that when you enter the safe room, you heal, you're good to go. Here's any ailments you may have. So we'll just stick with that. So we don't need rest, then. So let's change this from create rest function to heal when entering safe room. There we go. Oh man, let's see if I can read your name. Feroinkling? Hopefully I said that right. Feroinkling? I guess that means you have to make a restful API. I get it. No, we're not doing APIs in this project. Pharaoh Inkling. Okay, Pharaoh Inkling. Well, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Welcome all around. Glad you could be here. Yes. I like it. Restful API. Well, not too much. APIs and I do not get along. I don't know why. They stress me out. Okay. So, yes. There we go. Perfect. So, we're going to get rid of the rest, and we're just going to replace that with spellbook. So, let's do that so we can get over here. I know you can't really see what I'm doing, so I'm going to hide myself again, just so you can see. Let's do... And Tossin, I will address your chat in just a second. Sorry, I don't want to lose my train of thought. So you got the rest. Okay, so spells. We're gonna rename that to spellbook to keep it the same across everything. So you got spellbook, right? So spellbook's gonna be the first thing. Shop will be there. So rest. Oh crap! What was I thinking? Spellbook, shop. Rest was going to be quests. Or, no, not quests. Redeem quests? Yeah. Redeem quests, turn in quests. Turn in quests. It's a little long for the button, but I think it should be okay. We'll probably rename it to something else, but for now, that's what we'll go with. Turn in quests. So you got your spellbook. So when you click spellbook, that will replace this view with your spellbook, which you can then drag your dice from over here into the spellbook to upgrade spells. You've got the shop, which will then bring this back and bring this back, so you can buy and sell items. Turn in quests will complete any quest that you have here, giving you currency. The only other thing... So I wanted a way, and I was thinking we would replace shop when you click the quests button. So maybe we'll just say quests. We'll just say quests for now. So when you click on quests, it replaces this view right here with a list of quests that you can take. and then it will complete whatever quests you've completed here, and then you can select quests here, which will then go into your quests down here. So, yeah, I think that should be good. Okay, so Tossin over on YouTube says, would you rather create a game that makes players feel joy but no replayability, or one with endless replayability and fun but no emotional impact? I would be okay to just make a one-off game. Like with this one, for instance, I don't know how. I mean, I'm trying to make replayability, right, with like the random spawning monsters, items, the randomly generated dungeons, things like that. So I want there to be some replayability, but yeah, I think it would be more fun to make something that like brings a bunch of people joy, but it's just a one-time playthrough, versus making something that is just replayable to the ends of the earth, but no one actually enjoys it. I feel like there's been a lot of Minecraft clones that have done that, where the replayability value is super high, but it's just not enjoyable. So, Jesse over on YouTube says, good morning. Good morning, Jesse. Glad you could be here. Pharaoh Inkling says, many people have a train of thought. I have a stairway of thought, and I'm constantly falling down. Yeah, in my train of thought, I will often fall off that train, and doesn't end well. Yeah, the stairways of thoughts. Yeah, and falling down those stairs, it's brutal. It is brutal. Yeah, it sucks, especially when you know that you had a good idea in your head, and then it just is gone, and you're like, well, crap. So, yeah, fun times. Tassa says, the thing is, player will remember the game forever if it can bring them joy. Exactly, yeah. The amount of games that I've played where it's been just a short and sweet little game, maybe a few hours long, I remember those games so much more than the games that I've maybe spent dozens, if not hundreds of hours playing. But at the end of the day, I'm like, that wasn't really enjoyable. Like, I shut off my brain and I played this game, but it wasn't fun. So, okay, I think that's good. So we've got the spell book, we've got the shop, we've got the quests, and we've got leave. What do we have written down for this? We've got the healing when entering safe room, creating spell book, create shop, bring that up here, and then we need create quests. Let's do create quest system, because we're going to be adding lots of quests, so we'll just do create quest system, create shop system, and create spellbook system. Yes. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right. Tossin says, by the way, I got all those questions from ChatGPT. Gotta love it. I do love me some ChatGPT. I have used it many times when creating projects, fleshing things out, creating resumes. Works great. Highly recommended. All right, so with that, we just need this scene. Yeah, so we're gonna need this scene. I think the only thing we're going to need to separate is, we don't need the player information. All of that's going to be generated in-game. The inventory we can keep. And sell, because this is going to swap out. This is going to swap out. But that's fine. We'll keep it as is. Yes. Should be good. Should be good. Okay, so let's jump into getting all this stuff exported. So with the player, left section, let's go to player, let's hide the player graphic, the name, and the consumables, and the stats. The frame we can keep the same. Okay. Quest we'll just leave there, leave it blank. Buy and sell, we'll just leave it there, leave it blank. The room, I'm on the fence about, because we may want to change what the graphic of the room is. I think we'll just leave it, though. We'll leave it for now. We can always change that later. So, yeah. Okay, so let's save this on my computer. Let's come over here, images, pictures, PNG. We'll just call this Safe Room 1 for now. Yeah, Safe Room now. So, Loki says, a redesign I see. Yeah, so we did some redesigning of the layout of everything yesterday. So yes, we shifted where the inventory was. So it used to be down in the bottom left corner, now it's in the top right corner. The reason being, so just to really quickly recap, and I don't know if you were here for all of this stuff yesterday, but basic general idea is the card suits now correlate to different elemental spells. So you got fire, earth, water, and poison. And basically, as you draw the cards, it will pull up one of those 4 suits, and then you will have your spell book that you're going to be upgrading those spells. And so let's say, for example, if you draw a fire card, it will use the spell that you have correlated to your pyro magic. And so that's how it's now dealing damage. And then, so with that, the dice are no longer adding to your stats. They are now basically experience points for your spells. So as you go through the dungeons, you're going to want to, like if you're trying to become more of like a pyro mage, you'll try and collect as many red dice as possible, because that's fire. And you'll use those dice when you get to the safe rooms. So like say, for example, you would pull up your spell book, and if you had a bunch of red dice over here, you could then put them into your spell book to upgrade your fire spells. And so then as you upgrade your fire spells, they do more damage, and so you can kind of decide, are you going to spec more into simply pyro magic? So whenever you draw a fire card, it's going to do tons of damage, or are you going to try and do it more balanced? So it doesn't matter what card you draw, it does smaller amounts of damage, but it's more consistent. So you're kind of like specking out your spells, and then it's going to be randomly drawing those cards as you're drawing for Blackjack. So I saw the card recoloring, not sure I saw much after that. Yeah, so after the card recoloring, we changed it up a little bit with the UI, because again, when we got rid of the boosted stats for the players, we were like, well, we don't need this much space, so let's give the inventory more space so that we got just a little bit more room to, manage your inventory and all that fun stuff. I mean, 9 spaces works well enough for now in the early game, but as you progress, once you're starting to get up into the, your D12, D13, D14s, it might get a little bit cluttered if you don't have enough inventory space. So, figured that would be good to do. And then trying to just get the safe room all built out from here. Tossin says, explaining ideas and modifying when making games, ChatGPT comes in handy. It does, yeah. It's kind of crazy how well you can just bounce ideas off of ChatGPT, and it's really good at giving some really good insight. It can also suck. There's been a lot of times where I've explained what I'm doing and I've asked for suggestions, and it does nothing with what I just explained to it. But when it does work, it's fantastic. Okay, so we've got the room. Let's do... I guess what we can do is we will come in here. We're going to create a whole new map. This one's going to be called Safe Room. This is a safe room, everybody. Safe room. This is going to be 27 by 15. There we go. Okay, starting from scratch. It's kind of exciting to start something from just complete scratch. So here we go. In the safe room, what do we need? Well, first and foremost, I need to remember what layer all the images are on. So, pictures. Backgrounds are 1 through 5. Player section, inventory. Okay, so I think we need to use picture 1 then. Yes, I believe that's what it does. Show picture. Okay, picture number 5 is the dungeon UI. That makes sense. Yes, so let's go with the layer number 5. So, here we go. Parallel process. Going to show picture number 5. This is going to be Safe Room 1. We're going to show this in the center of the screen at 640 by 360. That will center it. Okay. All right. So from there, we will be filling this out more. This is the initialization / interaction. There we go. So I think that's all we need for now on the first page. So let's turn on self-switch A. When A is on, it will also be a parallel process. And this is where we're going to make all the interactions possible. Well, the buttons. Yeah. Let's just do the button interactions with this. Everything else will be other events to kind of keep things separate and clean. So let's come over here to the test dungeon, and we just need to grab this section right here. Okay, so this is going to be the spellbook button. Oop. Spellbook button. Let's grab the position of this button. So that is 408 by 516. So 408 by 516. And bottom right corner. 632, 580. 632, 580. Okay, so if the mouse is anywhere in there, you're interacting with the button. Okay, so if you are hovering, we need to make a spellbook highlight. I'm trying to decide how we're going to do that. This is already pretty bright. I think it should be fine, though. Yes. Okay, so POV, safe room, spellbook. There we go. There's the frame. Let's also show our inventory. Let's show our color palette so we can get that right. So down here on the frame, we're then going to fill this in with the lightest, you with the second lightest, so on and so forth. Hold up now. Is that what we actually want? You should be... Oh, you already... Okay, all right. Yep, that is what we want. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, so that is the highlight. So let's merge that group and let's undo the highlight. New. We're going to create the button. This is called Safe Room. Spellbook. We're going to call this Spellbook 2. No, we'll just go with Spellbook 1. Spellbook 1. I was figuring just to be safe, if we ever wanted to make this default button its own image, we would call that Spellbook 1. But I think we're just going to call it Spellbook 0 if we ever have to create its own. Okay. I'm also now just realizing we need to keep that highlight. So we want it to have it so when you click the button, we're going to do this. Select you, and you. And then we move down. So that's when you click. And spellbook needs to come down 4. And then we need to select you. Whoop. We need to select the frame. Move up, because this then needs to be that color. Okay. Let me merge group. Copy that. Undo all of that. There we go. Paste that there. So that's when you click it. And this is Safe Room Spellbook 2. All right. Let's come back over here. So you're in this area. We're going to show picture. We need to go with picture 35. What are my image layers again? 35. Card section is 23 through 35. Inventory is 11 through 22. Am I going to have enough image layers to make a 15? Crap. I did not account for that. So with RPG Maker, you have to use image layers, right? So you have 100 image layers. You have to show images somewhere in between those. And you cannot have 2 images showing on the same image layer. As soon as you say, show a picture on image layer 50, if you then say, now show this picture on image layer 50, it erases the original image with the new image. So I need to have blocks of image layers that allow... Oh, we can actually use the player section, though. Because the player section does not need... What is that? 5 pictures, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 5 pictures. We only need 1, so we just need the player image. We no longer are using the dice. Okay, for you, we can keep that. Good. Perfect. Fantastic. Okay, so let's keep with the card section then. So we're going to start with image 23. So come over here. Image layer 23 is going to be safe room spellbook 1. Yeah, so that is the highlight button. So let's copy that. We're going to come over here to spellbook, show that there. So then we're showing the image at 520 by 548. 520 by 548. Okay, so that is if you are hovering over it. If it is pressed, we're not going to turn on that switch. We're just going to show that image. It's pressed. If it's released, don't do any of that. We're just going to show the image that. And then when you're outside of those bounds, you're just going to erase picture 23. All right, there we go. Oh no, best viewers on streamboo.com. Well, I'm just gonna come over here and ban you. Good old spam. Good old spam chatters. Okay, so with that, we should be able to come over here. And that is not working. Why is that not working? Turn on A. A is on. Oh, that's right. We had the same issue before. We need to, over here, turn on always on, because we have a switch that needs to always be on. There we go. So when you hover over it, it highlights the button. Perfect. When you click it, it goes down. Perfect. We've got a functioning button, kind of. In a sense. Does it look weird to have it highlight the bottom portion, though? I feel like it kind of does. I think we don't want to highlight that bottom portion. It does look a little weird. So let's do this. We're going to grab... yeah, let's just grab the gray section. We're just going to grab the gray section. We're going to come over here to the spellbook. So we do not want... Well, yes, we want you to be highlight. We want you to be highlight. But we do not want these to change colors. Because you're in the shadows, so you're going to stay the same. Yeah. I think so. So this is button 2. Save that. And let's open safe room button 1. Paste that there. So this is the highlight. So yes, so you're that color, you're that color, then you're going to stay that color, you're going to stay that color, and you're going to stay that color. I think that'll work better. Let's give it a try, though, and just see what it looks like. I think that looks better. So when you hover over it, it just is highlighting this top section here, and then the main part of it, but it's not highlighting the shadow area down here. I think that's better. Yeah. I think that's better. Well, hopefully. Oh my gosh, 17 minutes ago. I am so sorry. So sorry, Pharaoh Inkling. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. I've got to figure out something with the follows, because I don't get notifications, and I tried to set up an alert. So I don't know if that played. Hopefully it did. Yeah, I tried to set up like an alert on Twitch so that when someone follows, it shows their name and all that fun stuff. So if that didn't show up when you followed, I apologize. I'm also sorry that I missed that for 17 minutes. So thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Okay, let's do the other buttons. So for that, let's come over here. Let's do the quest button next. So we can close the left section. POV. There. Okay. that's the spell book. Let's do the shop button. We'll do that next. So we need the highlight. Let's grab brightest for there. Next one down for there. And then we're not changing those bottom two. Yes, perfect. All right. And then we merge that layer, copy it. We can close that. We can close that. New. Paste that. Okay. You are... Let's find safe room, spell book. You are safe room, shop 1. And we need... Well, we need everything except for that layer to move down. But we then need a new layer up here. Nope, we need a new layer up here, which will then fill in with this black color. There we go. And we'll save that as safe room shop 2. Okay. Let's get the X and Y for that. Well, over here. Yeah, let's have these branched in the else handlers. So if you are... The mouse cursor is between 648 by 516, 648 by 516, and if you are... 872 by 580. 872 by 580. So if you're within that, this is going to be the shop button. So we're going to show shop number 1, but it needs to shift over. How many frames is that? 240 frames. So the X is where that would be. So 960. And if you are released, we're going to do that. Oh, if you're pressed at 960. And then if you are released, show that one at 960. And then else, erase the picture. Okay. So that should allow us to have the spell book, click it, shop. I added an extra 200 pixels there. That is my bad. Let's count through, because I'm apparently an idiot. 520, 620, 720, 760. It's all right. We all make mathematical errors every now and then, right? Oop, 760. All right. Now with that, there we go. Shop, click it. Perfect. That is what we like to see. Okay. Let's do the quests button now. Isn't this just so exciting? Just so exciting. Creating buttons, making them work. Now let's get the highlight. Let's get the next color down. We'll merge that group and copy it. Create a new over here. So we got the quest button. That is the highlight. So let's save that as safe room. Call that quests 1. And we need it for when it is pressed down, which is going to be that color. Let's copy, let's grab everything minus that. Move it down 4. And we will... I guess we could select... No. We'll just select that guy. Minus quests. Move that up 4 and fill that in with the dark color. Call this one Safe Room Quests 2. All right. And over here, let's copy that. Put it there. We will call this the Quests button. Let's get the XY coordinates for where this button is sitting. It is right now at 408, 596, so 408, 596. Go. And the bottom right is 632 by 660. 632 by 660. All right, quest button. We will show this picture at kind of, it should be fine. It should be fine. Wait, do I still have this called rest? That is now quests. I still had this picture folder called rest. Okay, so 520, 628. 520, 628. The 520, 628? Good freaking heavens. Why am I so bad at remembering numbers? 520, 628. Okay. Whew. It's not shop. We want quests. And quests. 520, 628. And if it's released, show that at 520 and 628. All right. And as long as all of that is correct, we should have a button that we can hover and click. There we go. Perfect. And last but not least, let's get that leave button. Let's also unhighlight the quest button. Okay, leave. Let's get the highlight color. Ooh, and the other highlight color. There we go. Merge that group. New. There we go. Get rid of the background. Now this is going to be called Safe Room Leave 1. And then we're going to want to select everything minus that. Move it down. Perfect. Get that darker color. Select everything but leave. Move it up and fill it in with that. All right, there we go. And this is Safe Room Leave 2. Perfect. Close that, and close that. And then let's come in here, copy this code one more time. Call this leave button. So I know right now all of this is just visual, which it is. It is 100% just visual, but we are going to make it so it's actually functional. So 648, 596, 648, 946. Was that 946 or 546? I think it's 546. Okay, all right. Come on, Kevin. It's not that hard. 546, 546, 596. Whew. All right, maybe it is that hard. 596. Of course, I was thinking 956. It's freaking dyslexia. It's killing me. Absolutely killing me. 872, 660. 872, 660. Perfect. Okay, and this is the leave button. So we're going to show Safe Room Leave 1. This is going to be at, so if we remember right, it was 240 pixels to the right. So we're at 520. We want to be at 760. That is right, class. 760. Switch this to leave 2 at 760. And this one is leave 1 at 760. And so long as I didn't mess that up, that should be all we need. Spellbook, shop, leave, click leave. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. All right, we've got our buttons. But you. Okay, so now that we have our buttons, we can make them functional, which is going to be fantastic. Well, I hope it'll be fantastic. Okay, so how are we going to do this? the shop. Shop, the quests. Which one should we make first? Let's come over here. Let's come over here to our Trello board. I mean, we're in the process of creating the safe space. Let's just call this the safe room, just so we have the same lingo across the board. Okay. Heal when entering the safe room, create shop system, create spellbook system. I think maybe we'll create the spellbook system first. I think that'll be easiest. Yeah. Create spellbook system. I say it's going to be easiest, but it's going to be a lot that we've got to figure out. Okay. Well, let's figure this out. So, spellbook system. How are we going to do this? So it's going to take up this whole area here, right? How do we want this to work out? I've got a couple ideas that I've saved that I've kind of just like looked into, and I'm like, that would maybe be interesting. So pulling from other ideas that I found online, right? So I was going to try and show it on screen, but I forgot to download the picture beforehand. So you know what? Actually, here, let's do this. I'm just going to do this really quick. I'm going to put it on my Google Drive. And then we are going to come over here. I'm going to shrink that down so you don't have to look at that. You don't want to look at my email. There we go. All right, and then we download that. Perfect. There we go. Downloaded. Okay, so the inspiration that I'm feeling right now is something kind of like, if I can find it, where'd it go? There we go. Something kind of like this. So the idea would be you would have your skill tree, essentially, right? Obviously, skill tree. So you'd have your skill tree, and you use the dice to add to that skill tree. So you're leveling up the things, your spells. So essentially, what it would be is, so not necessarily take all of this design, but taking the horizontal design of it, right? So you'd have your, oh no, do we want to have it branch? So you're like having to make choices as to what spells you're unlocking? Maybe? You've got to get to level like dice 20 to have it on like. And this is a big system to have to consider. Yeah, I think. Yeah, let's just start messing around with it. So if we come over here, we're gonna go to POV. We create a new folder. We're gonna call this one Spellbook. So, with the Spellbook, let's do this. So the Spellbook's going to be something like, it's going to take up basically this whole view, right? So whole view minus very edges. Sometimes I absolutely hate Photoshop. Sometimes it is absolutely terrible. Like this, it's just like moving along so slowly, but if I were to press shift, even just for a second, it's going to be like, oh, you want to go all the way to the top? And it's like, no, I just want you to scroll just a little bit faster. Just a tiny bit faster. Anyway. Alright, so this area, whatever. This area here, oh my gosh, of course I left one pixel unselected, or selected. Alright, that area there, perfect. So, let's get our color palette. I would say we just fill this in. Oh, alright, we need that. Let's just call this background, I suppose. Okay, so there's the background. So if we do something like, we could have it branch. We could have it branch. Kind of moving up, or should we have it move left to right? I kind of like the idea of having, you've got your spell slots here on the left side. Yeah, maybe. So it would essentially look something like this. Come to inventory, we grab empty. Let's just grab one of you. Spell book, there we go. So essentially, it would look something like this. So you would have, let's actually grab, let's make that, I guess that's as dark as it can go. Yeah, I don't want people to be confused as to what is supposed to go where. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have it be something like this for now. I guess we could also do that background. And that. That kind of makes it seem like there's a hole or something. Which I think is fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, so with that, you've got your fire. And we separate it by, I don't know, 100 pixels. Make it slightly more divided. So if we come down here to there, we go down another 100 pixels. Okay, so those are the empty dice slots. Down here, let's make sure we get it centered. So we got 60, so let's go 30. So over here, we'll move over 30 pixels. And the idea is you would be progressing these skills from left to right. Yes. How large is this section? 432. So what is 432 divided by 4? 108 pixels. Okay, simple enough. 108. I think if we do something like this, hear me out. So 108. Whoa. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so 108 pixels would be right there. So if we fill you in, and if we go with red, then we make it even. Let's not make it darker. Let's just do like 50% red. So we're basically going to have a new color, a darker color, that's more like a more grayed out version of that color. So if we do that, then we do another 108. We'll fill this in with the green. 108. Fill this in with blue. And this one, 108. Fill this in with 108, right? Yeah, 108. Fill this in with purple. Maybe. So if we go up to there, then we bring this down to there. 36, so 18. Let's center it there. So if we delete you guys and we just get a new one. So from there, nope. 112, would that be? No. So 100 and, well, yeah, oh. I'm so stupid. It's another 108. What am I thinking? Jesse says, gotta run to lunch. Be right back. Well, go enjoy your lunch. Yeah, hopefully it's something good today. It sounds like I was very aggressive with my go enjoy your lunch. I sincerely hope you enjoy your lunch, Jesse. 18. Okay. This will kind of show the path you'll be following for the different spells. Maybe that's fine. Maybe not. We'll stick with it for now. We'll see what happens. We'll probably change it eventually. For now, it kind of gives you maybe instead of having that, what if we change these to be those darker colors? Right? And so then here in the background, we get rid of those. Yeah. So then, general idea would be if we go, how far do we want to go? Like, I'm thinking if you have 5 tiers of each spell. So what would that require? That would require you to collect or level up 100 tiers of dice, which I feel like is good. And we can always change that too. We can change how you level up and all that fun stuff. But I think that would be good. Okay, so if we're going to do 5, how are we going to factor the distance? What if we were to say do like 140? And then one more at 140? No, let's do 150. That's pretty close. Let me just center that. Okay. So then, what we'll want to do is get a line that spans across all of these. It's 4 wide. To center it, we're looking at 28. What would that be? 14? Yeah, 14. Jeez. Whew, my brain and math is not working today. Okay. Yeah, I think that should be alright. Yeah. It seems a little thin. Maybe this design isn't great. Maybe, instead of doing all this, let's just grab a gray. And we're just going to kind of scribble it out, right? We're just going to see kind of what we're thinking. So what could we do? We could have it be so you start on this side, and then you progress this way with your spells until you reach the end. That's the final spell. So you've got to max this out to 20, and then that unlocks 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. We could also do something kind of like how the original image was. You could kind of have it branch out. So you would start, your spells are down here. So you've got 1 spell, 2 spell, 3 spell, 4 spell. And then they kind of branch up. What if Okay, sorry. I gotta start thinking out loud here. So what if instead of having a set branch you have to follow where it's like, these are your fire spells, these are your earth spells, these are your water spells, and these are your poison spells. And then you branch and you go up or out or something like that. What if instead of doing that, you have a starting point, and then as you branch out, you have set bonuses that you can apply. So let's here, I'll kind of show you what I mean. So let's grab a gray. So let's say, for example, you were to do if you just started here in the center, right? So you've got your skills that are fire, earth, water, and poison. And then the idea would be, so they've got their branches, right? And then you would do something like, each one of these branches gives different bonuses. Maybe in my head it's sounding better than it actually would be. But so basically, so branch out. Let's just see if I can flesh this out and see if I can make it make sense. So it branches out, and then you are choosing what level of the dice you're putting into each one of these. So for example, this node right here would be something like +1 something like damage +1. No, that doesn't make any sense. So basically the idea would be, you have your starting spells, right? These are all at just 1. And then, as you would branch out, you would choose which direction you're going, and depending on what element you put into the slot, you know, if you put a fire element in here, it'd be damage +1, and then as you spec into that, it would be adding +1 to your fire damage. Nah, never mind. I don't think that's a good idea. Not a good idea. I thought it would work in my head, but then I started actually writing it out. Doesn't make any sense. So, we're not going to do that. So, back to the drawing board. What have we got? We can, like I was saying, we can just, you have your starting point. And it could be anything, really. Like, we can start here at the bottom. So you got your different spells. And then as they branch up, the only problem, I almost feel like left to right might be best. Yeah, I think we're going to do left to right. So you've got your skills, your spells. Start here on the left. And this is something like we would do, so it'd be fire, right? If I cannot write letters freehand with a mouse. So you got fire, level 1. And then, as you progress and you get to the next one, so you're placing the dice in here, right? So let's say, for example, you were to be putting dice in here, and it's currently at a 10. This would be at a 0, so on and so forth. You'd be at 0, And then as you unlock these next ones. So, yeah, this would be... How would I put in the names, though? We don't have a whole lot of room to work with here. So we got to keep it simple. So maybe instead of level, we do damage. So it's just telling you this is how much damage you're doing. Fire damage is 1. We could also have checkpoints. So basically, once you reach this, do damage plus something like that. Damage plus 1. So as you're filling this up, when you reach that checkpoint, then you get that little boost. And then we could say the larger ones would be damage, I don't know, times 2. Looks terrible. But so then as you reach these, yeah, might not be absolutely terrible, maybe. So then general idea is you're leveling these up, which that'll kind of be filling up upward, while these ones are filling up this way. And so then when you reach the end, so your damage will just be 1. And then as you reach these checkpoints, it will add to it. So the damage would be 2 at this point. And so then when you finish filling this up, you would have your damage times 2. And then this one would do damage times 3. And then so on and so forth, damage times 4. And then for each time you get there. So you're not only, when you hit smaller milestones, like when you reach level 10 on your first, let's say, for example, level 1 spell is Fireball. And then level 2 spell, this would change from Fireball. So once you finish unlocking this one and you're working on this one, it would then change this from Fireball to Inferno or something like that. And then number 3 would be Meteor. And it would just level up until you get all the way to the end. So let's say, for example, in this case, when you're right here, you've got Fireball, your damage is 1. That's what you've reached. I guess starting out would be 1, so your damage would now be 2, because you've reached this milestone. Because every skill, every spell by default does 1 damage. When you reach that, it adds it, so it's now doing 2. And then, once you fill this up, and this is now maxed out, it's got a full D20 in there, it's now doing 2 times the damage. And so, you're now going to be doing 4 damage with fire spells. Yes. And then, as you move along, this one, again, does damage plus 1. So when you reach that, you would be doing your initial 1 plus 1 plus 1 times 2. So you're doing 6. And then you reach another times, so maybe not times 3, because that's just going to get crazy. Anyway, so general idea would be, as you reach these smaller milestones, it adds 1 to your damage. And when you reach the bigger milestones, which is maxing out this spell, it would multiply it by 2. Yes. I think that would work. Let's build it out a little bit more than just this rough design. Let's build it out a little bit more and see if it works. So, coming back over here, let's replace... Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that. Yeah. Now the background, I do kind of like sticking with the 108 pixels. But what we're gonna do, let's do all the way, right? All the way in here is 440. So it'd be 110, right? 440 divided by 4 is 110. So you've got 110 pixels to work with, which is fine. We go all the way over. Not that far over. It's 110. There we go. And if we move down 110 again. So that's already at the darkest. So let's just grab pure black. Same thing with down here. Oop. Just so we kind of have like a good sectioned off section, right? We hide spellbook. Trying to figure out, there's like, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a thin line here that I think I just made a different color, but should not be a different color. Gosh, Facebook. Photoshop. I hate you sometimes. You are the worst. Okay. Still, it's not going to look great, even once we get all this done, but it's going to give us a better idea of what we're looking at. What is happening here? I don't know where that's coming from, but we're just going to do this. And this. Okay, this should give us a rough idea of how much space we have to work with. So let's do... Let's move you guys down. So you're just going to be 8 pixels above that. Okay. And then we need to grab some text. Let's grab this inventory text, I suppose. Okay. And then over here in the spell book, let's put you there. So we'll just say fire. Damage 1. For now, we'll just stick with that. Is this enough room, though? So we do 8. Only got 2. We can't really resize the size of the dice, though. Because those are pretty set in stone. That is set in stone about as much as you can be. That's the size of the text. We can't make it smaller. We are sticking pixel true. So we're not going to be making some smaller text that just fits. Because even if we did, we'd have to go down to 10 pixels. But no. We're not doing that. We're not doing different sized pixels. Right now, this game is 4 pixels is a pixel. And that's it. We're not doing any of that. Okay, so how could we make this better? We could move these down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make a little bit more space there. Yeah. So we'll just say this is Fireball. So the spell is Fireball, and its damage is 1. And let's do... over in the inventory section, let's grab the dice, just so we have those to work with. So, we want to grab the Vitality dice. This is no longer the Vitality dice. This is now the Fire dice. I'm going to move that up over here. Now, again, this is just for seeing what it'll look like. So I think if we get rid of all of these... Knock, knock. Oh, hi. Yeah. Hi, how are you? Oh, hi. Yeah, do you want to say hi? Is that the microphone? You want to say hi to everybody? Say hi, everybody. Hi. You going down for a nap? Oh, you done already? All right. Bye-bye. Oh, you're going to go say night-night to the kitty? All right, go have a good nap, okay? I'll see you when you wake up. Night-night. Yep, go say night-night to the kitty. Okay, so we got Fireball. So the name of the spell, how much damage it's doing. Yes, so let's resize. I think maybe these bars are just not doing it for me. Let's resize these like that. So that way, let's also fill... Oh, that's why. Like, what is happening? Okay, turn off contiguous. Contiguous? Contiguous? I think it's contiguous. Okay, there we go. And then if we just copy that. You know what? Actually, no. We're going to leave it dim. We're going to leave it dim like that. Copy that. We're going to get rid of these bars. Wait, did I do this right? I don't think I left enough space. I did. Okay. Fair enough. So let's delete that. We will delete this. And that. Okay. And then we will put that there. Put that there. And we will put that there. All right. Now, the reason being, again, because if you remember from our rough sketch, you're going to have the bar that fills up, and you'll have these checkpoints. Yeah, checkpoints I feel like is a good way to describe that. So, as it's filling up, so let's just do an example so that it fills up like this. Let's find, where would the halfway mark be? So we've got... what is that? Divided by 2, 39. Okay, so 39. This is the center point then. Yes, I believe so. Let's see if we're right. We've got 37 and 37. Okay, yes, so that is the halfway mark. So then if we do you and you. Yeah, that should be all right. Halfway mark. Okay, so we fill up all the way to the halfway mark. The issue is the text size, right? So we could also maybe have it do something like this. So as you're filling up, kind of highlights all of this. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine, I think. It kind of comes back down. Yeah, I think that should be all right. So in the halfway mark, if we do something like this, let's copy that text. We'll do something like just +1. Is that going to feel too large? Yeah, a little bit. I don't think there's really any other way around it. I think that should be okay, though. +1. Yeah, I think that should be fine. We might just get rid of it, because maybe once we just explain it to the player that when you reach these marks, it does +1. But I think for now, we'll just call that good. Okay, so then, if we do this, let's actually change this something like that. We come over here and we put you there. Okay, so let's copy this section here. Sorry, it's going to be a little bit janky because we're just trying to get all this figured out. So then if we do you're just going to be that. You're going to be that. I think that looks okay. Yeah, that should be okay. So then we go over here and one more over to here. Crap. There we go. Okay, then we merge those down. And then the +1, let's do this. +1. Crap. That's fine. Again, it's all very preliminary, nothing set in stone. +1. And one more, +1. At this point, okay, so you're lined up, but then you're not, and you're not. So if we do, you are going to be expand the width there. Get you to that, which will then line this. Nope, that one's too wide now. So let's shrink the width here to 76, sure. Which will then still have that just a little bit off. So let's shrink you to 66, sure. Okay, so that's all of that. And then if we take this and we move it down over to here-ish, we do... Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't have a... That should be fine, though. X2. Yeah, that should be fine. So I made this font so that I could have everything as pixel perfect as possible. And it works for the most part. Sometimes I wish there were things that I should probably change some things. 36 is 18? I have a 36. My brain is for some reason not working right now. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Yes. Okay, so I have that right. Then you are 22 and 22. Okay, so that is centered. So at this point, we just need to say... Actually, wait, do I have that right? You're 18. You're 18, and you should also be 18. All right, there we go. So we'll just do X2, 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 and then maybe the last one would be X3. So what would be your maxed out damage then? Let's find that out. So your initial damage is 1. And then when this is filled, one. Okay, so on here, let's just fill you in with this color. Yeah. So we don't want you to be... Crap. Because once you start putting the dice on top, are you going to feel... I feel like what the player's going to consider is that as soon as you place a dice here, you'll unlock X2. I don't want you to think that once you place a dice here, you're unlocking X2. But there's not really a place for me to put that below or to the side or anything like that. Okay, well, we'll just keep that position for now. Let's move you over to here. We'll move you over 18. And let's do X2. Let's come over here. X3. And you are currently at 14. So we need you to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So what if we do... What if we just did +1? But again, I don't want you to feel like as soon as you place the dice, you're getting that. This is where the dice go. That's a little bit of a struggle. It's a little bit of a struggle. Yeah, so I don't want you to feel like as soon as you place the dice, you're getting the 2x multiplier, because you have to finish that. Yeah, I don't know how to avoid that with the current structured system we have. Spell name, how much damage it's doing. So as soon as you place the dice, it's going to cover up that X2 text, which is fine. Again, I just don't want people to feel like they're getting that as soon as they place the dice, which is a problem. So basically, how was it that I had it before? I was taking into consideration being able to use smaller text, which we don't want to do. We want to keep this looking pixel correct. Because maybe this is just like a personal thing for me, but nothing kills me more than when you see a game and it's all like, oh, you know, it's pixel art, it's pixelated, whatever. But then you come in and you look at it, and you're like, okay, yeah, it is, but like when you've got suddenly just random text that's smaller, I don't know, it just throws me off. So I do not want to be changing the text size. Like, this is the smallest the text can be, is 20 pixels, because that means each pixel of the font is 4 pixels, meaning it's pixel accurate. So, what are we gonna do? We could do... Oh man, I missed another one 19 minutes ago. Nancy Charlotte 94, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it. I don't know how I keep missing all these... Well, I know how I keep missing all these follows. It's because even though I have an alert set up on Twitch, I don't think it's actually playing. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it is. But I went back and checked yesterday when Drainyard followed, and I never saw anything. So if that alert is not working, I apologize. But thank you so much for following. I really appreciate it. So I really wanted it to be when you max out the dice. So when you finally get your D20 finished in here, that's when you unlock the 2x. But maybe... because once you hit here, there's going to be no point for you to keep leveling up your fire spell, because you're going to hit that and suddenly you have your 3x anymore. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work, unfortunately. I think we'll just keep going with this for now. Maybe we just need to redo this completely. What if instead of having this, right? So right now it would be all of your spells are just right here. So you'd have your fire spells, your earth spells, your water spells, your poison spells. And you're going along this branch. And that's just moving along. Which is fine. That's fine for the spell book, I guess. It's fine. But I'm almost wondering if we have tabs. If we have tabs in the book. So you'd have your fire spells, your earth spells, and all of that is tabbed out. And you go into the different tabs. That just seems too tedious. And I don't want it to be tedious. I want it to feel fun when you're coming in here, you're leveling up your spells, you're sticking the d20s into the slots, it's leveling up the spells. So yeah, maybe it's just a matter of you are just, when you reach this spot, so this will be +1, right? As soon as you place the dice in there, you get +1. And then as you're leveling this up and it's going along, you will then hit this, and it hits ×2. Actually. How many dice do you need to collect to reach 20? So if you... Let's pull out a calculator. So let's just say you are collecting dice at just the ones. Like all you're doing is you're finding d20s on the 1 indicator, right? So you would need to collect 1 + 1 to get a 2. Okay. And then you would need to collect... How would you do this? So 2 dice to make a 2. And then you would need to collect another... Let's do this. So 1 + 1 to make a 2. And then to do that again, you would have to multiply that again by 2. So you would need 4 dice. This is going to multiply every single time. Oh my gosh. Okay, so how would we factor this? It would be what? Like 1 × 2 × 3 × 4 × 5 × 6 × 7 × 8 × 9. Okay, that's not true. That is not what you would need to do. Or is it? Would reaching D20, if you're having to collect 1 every time, is that actually how the math would... No. You would not have to collect millions of dice to reach even a D10. But I don't know why I cannot think of the math on this one. So what would it be? What would it be? Let's think about this. So a 1 and a 1 makes a 2. That's 2. And then you would need another 1 and a 1 to make another 2 to make a 3. So that's another 2. Ooh. So you need 4 dice to make a 3. So maybe... So maybe instead of leveling up each one of these with a d20, you're just putting your dice here, and that's just having this go up on its own. Yeah, maybe we do that. I am going to take a quick break, and we will be back in just a few minutes. All right, quick break. Back in a few minutes. Yes. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so the spell book. I think what we're gonna do is, as soon as you finish out this slot, right? You reach level 20, you then unlock this slot to be able to start placing things in. So at this point, you get +1, and then another +1. And then when you get here, as soon as you place your first die in here, you get the 2x multiplier. So it'll double your damage. And then you'll get your +1, another 2x, +1, 2x, yada, yada, yada. It does kind of negate the whole finishing off this section here, the x3, but we can either add an extra something at the end, but I also feel like if anyone has played far enough to get a 3x multiplier, they're probably just going to want to finish out this spell slot. So I think that's what we're going to stick with, is as soon as you finish off the bar up to here and you place the dice in here, you get the 2x. So that's what we're going to do. Let's kind of, let's just kind of finish building this out, seeing what it looks like finished. And yeah, we'll see. Okay, so with that, so that is the rough template or the outline. That is that. So let's merge all of these images. We're just going to call this fire spell. We're going to duplicate that. Let's come down here. We're going to do earth spell. So it's only 4 pixels away from there. So if we move it down to there, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. We'll call this, I don't know, Vine. Vine. Or I don't know, Earthquake. Earthquake. Damage. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we'll do 4. Damage is 4. Okay, so we're going to replace... I guess we don't necessarily need to replace the dice. We can just Oh, wait, that's right. Okay, let's just delete all of those then. Sorry, I'm doing some folder management. I know you can't really see what I'm doing, but if we delete the fire dice, and then we pull up the defense dice, which is now just earth. Bring that over there. And if we fill in that with that. So this, I'm just going to kind of fill in all this stuff just to kind of get like a rough idea of what it would look like as you're leveling up your spells. You know, hopefully to get a good idea of what it looks like. So if you would be 20, then let's duplicate this. Just call you Earth 2. We'll set you to like, I don't know, 2. Okay. Then down here, fill that in just a little bit. Okay. Okay, so that's the earth spell. And then let's do a water spell. Move that down to there. 1, 2, 4. Okay. And then we will, in here, swap out the dice. We're going to get rid of Earth and Earth 2. Whoa. Earth and Earth 2. The Strength dice, which is now just water. Move you up to here. And we'll say you're set to, I don't know, 7. Okay, we've leveled it up 7. So the rough idea would be 7, it'd be somewhere around here-ish. Oh my gosh. Go. Okay. I don't know. Rough name. Splash. Damage would be 2, because you had the initial damage plus 1. And then let's fill in that. Oh, nope, 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 nope. That one. Okay. And then over here on Earth, we can get rid of the strength dice and the luck dice. Okay. And then from water, we can duplicate that. One more duplication. This will be poison spell. It's 4. This will be called something like I don't know, poison burst. Just very on the nose. All right, and the dice, let's get rid of that one. We'll show this one. This one would be called poison. Move it up to here. Okay, so you are going to be at 20. Let's just say you are leveling up your poison spell like crazy. So poison 1. Poison 2. And poison 3. And poison 3 will be at 5. Just barely made it across that +1 mark. Oh, wait, no. 10 would be the halfway. That's right. That is right. They're D20s, so 10 would be halfway. That is fine. We will... This is just to kind of give you an idea of what it would look like. So this is nothing set in stone, nothing... This is what it will look like. It's just rough idea. Let's fill those in. And 5 would put us here-ish. Okay. Let's fill this in. Okay. There we go. Okay. So that means you would be something like 1, 2, 4... I'm just realizing. So the 2x, would that just 2x up to what you have done or everything you have? Because if that's the case, if you have 1, 2, 3, so 1 attack, 2 damage, the 2x would multiply it, so you would be doing 4 damage. And then if we take that into account, it'd be 3, so then 6 damage. And if you multiply that again, you're now doing 12 damage. Yeah, I think the multipliers should be fine. So what would be the max amount of damage you could do at here? Well, let's figure that out. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 10, 20, 40. Oh boy. You'd be doing a lot of damage. 120 is a lot. Okay, well, let's... 120 is a lot of damage. So, I mean, we could just do 2x here, and you would max out your damage at 80. We could also do it to where every time... We could just... Okay, here's another thing we could do. We could do this. As you progress, every dice you add here adds 1 to your attack. So right now, like, let's not take into account any of these +1s. Let's not take into account the multiplications, anything like that. So you would be doing 45 damage with poison. So this would basically mean every time you add to one of these, every time you add, it's going to get progressively more and more and more difficult until you get to the point where you max out this one and then you start anew. Then you can like add to your damage a lot faster, and then it slows down until you're reaching 20 again, and then it speeds back up. That would be a way to do it. Just get rid of all these +1s, ×2s, all of that stuff. So maxed out, you could do 100 damage per card. That's not a terrible idea. That's not terrible. We could do that. That would simplify this whole system a lot, so you're not worried about, oh, let's reach the +1, ×2s, whatever, all that stuff. It sounds a little... I know it sounds simple, but like we're trying to go for simplistic, right? Think old school RPGs. They were pretty basic and simple in their combat, in their systems, and things like that, and we want to try and recreate that. So we don't want to be like, oh, well, you're putting this in, but the number on the dice doesn't really matter. You're just you're merging those together to eventually add up to a +1, to a ×2, to a +1, to another ×2. Yeah. I mean, the other thing we could do is make it so that the addition and the multiplication are working right to left. Or, no, we'd still be going left to right. So we'd be 1, 2, ×2 would be 4, 5, ×2 would be 10, 11, 22, 23, so that'll be 23 would be 69. Nice. So then you'd max out at 69 damage. Then that that math just kind of gets ridiculous. You're like, well, what's actually multiplying? What's just adding? Yeah, that just kind of sounds like it'd be just ridiculous. And we don't want to do that. So we could either have it max out at whatever it was, 140 damage, or you max out at 100 total. So you've got your spell slots. When you max out to 20, you then have the chance to start building up your next one, which would change your spell name, right? You'd have your maxed out spell, which then goes up to the next spell, which is a different named spell. I think we might do that. So let's get rid of all of that stuff. We don't need those. Yeah. It's sad, you know, it's, as they say, wasted work is sad, but that also cleans it up a lot more too. Like, it just looks cleaner, right? I think so. So that would mean that this damage is now 10. This one would be 24. This damage is 7. And this damage is 45. Yeah, I think that's going to be best. Yeah. So the other thing then to consider is how long will it actually take to get to level 20? Merging dice together, how are you going to get to level 20? How long will that take? That's where the balancing is going to come into play. Because leveling up a dice to level 20, if it takes a super long time, like if I'm not really actually thinking about it super clearly, because I feel like reaching level 20 actually shouldn't take that long. Maybe it will. Again, this is something we won't really know until we get through all of this preliminary stuff and we start play testing and seeing how the leveling up system feels and works and all of that fun stuff. So let's just call this good for now. This is how you're going to level up your spells. you will, when you have d20s over here, you'll just merge them. So like say this is a red 10, you would take it, merge it over here, drop it in. That would be an 11. This would go up a little bit, and then, you know, you got that now. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to call that good. We're going to call that good on the spell book. I think that feels decent. Okay, there we go. So that's the spell book. Simple enough. Let's see if we can start building that out. Let's do that. Yes. Okay, create the spellbook system. We've got visually and the layout, which is good. That's half the battle. Now it's just programming it all and trying to get that all working. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is gonna be fun. All right, so let's see here. If we do, so what assets are we going to need? We're not gonna need these, because these will all just be taken up by actual dice themselves. Yes. We already have all the dice, so you'd have 5 spots where the dice can and will be. I'm also thinking probably something like if you are just dragging and dropping, so like if you've got your red dice and you come over here, I'm not going to say you have to drag and drop specifically right here. I'm going to say you can drag and drop anywhere in this section here. If you drag and drop in here and you let go and it snaps in there, like it'll just snap to the nearest spot. I think that's going to work best. So you're not having to be so specific on, I'm putting it right here. Because really, anywhere in here, you're adding it to your spellbook. I mean, we could probably even just do it if you're hovering the dice anywhere in here, it's moving it to the spellbook. So I might even say you don't have to put it right where you mean it to. You're just dragging and dropping a green dice over here, and even if you're hovering over here, it's going to then snap to over here. We might actually do that, just to make it less tedious, so you're not having to be so specific on where you're dragging and dropping. Okay, so with that, let's do this. Okay. So what will we need? We can hide that. Okay, let's just make a universal progress bar underneath all the spells. Yes. Okay, so let's hide all of those for now. Let's just come over here. We're going to focus on this guy. So you are... There we go. You are that. Okay, what is happening? There we go. Jeez. Okay, that is just the universal empty spellbook. Down here, let's move you up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's merge those, bring those down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that is that. Now, as far as the spells go, yeah, so the name, that's all going to be changing, so we can't have anything set there. The dice will be changing as well, so we can't have anything set there. And then that is going to be bars, like, yeah, bars that need to fill up. Wow, this is going to be a lot of HUD elements. I am just now realizing. Because it will be the name, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 progress bars for each of these. Ooh. I mean, what is that? So that's 16 progress bars. So we're going to have 20 HUD elements just for the spellbook. Well, it can do it. It's just going to get a little messy, but it can do it. So, let's do that. All right, show. So let's hide fire spell. So at this point, it's just this stuff. This is the entirety of the spell book that we need. Let's go new. Paste that. That's why Okay. All right. That's all right. All right. Well, what? Blah 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 blah. All right. POV, room, frame. Didn't put that in there. It's a spell book. Background. Wait, did I still have the background on? Is the background necessary? Yeah, it is a good differentiator. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Okay, so let's do this. We need to cut out the corners. Yeah, so we just need to have you. Okay, so you to you. Yep, let's just do this. Fill that in. Yeah? Just up here, actually. So fill those in. And let's grab... Here, we need to do 8x4, 4x4. So then over here, we need to do 4x8 and 4x4. Okay, so then we will do, we'll call this, was it safe room? Yeah, so safe room 1. Safe room, actually. That's right, that's how I was going to do that. All right, never mind. Pack it up. We're going back over here. Turn on the background again. So at this point, I think... Yeah, we'll just leave it like this for now. So let's just save this as PNG safe room 2. All right. So, oh my gosh, over here, when you on spellbook, when you release, we're going to show picture number 5, safe room 2. So it's going to switch to spellbook. And then on the shop button, when you release, you're going to switch to there. Quests button, same, switch it to that. And then leave button, I don't really need to worry about the leave button. Okay, so that means, come in here, we pull up spellbook. We'll pull up that, shop closes it, spellbook. Yeah, quests, leave does nothing, but spellbook, that pulls up the spellbook. Perfect. So then let's come in over here. So when you show the picture, we are going to turn on switch. We're going to turn on spellbook. Again, this is one word. I don't need to camel case that. Spellbook. Okay, turn on spellbook. Any other time, though, you are going to turn off spellbook. Yes. And the reason being is for when we do all of the graphical things. So if you pull up spellbook, this is now going to turn on that switch so we can show graphs and all that fun stuff. Okay, so now we've got the hero name, we've got the monster name. X2, I don't think we need that. We don't need X2. So let's do, we'll just go very basic. Fire, earth, water, poison. Perfect. Okay, so then we come in here. Let's turn that off so you can see what I'm doing. We'll go F12. All right, so we've got all the HUD elements. Farah, let's clone you. And we're going to say if switch 43 is on. So the switch value 43 is equal to true. Fresh. Okay. So if we come over here and click spellbook, that should show there. Perfect. you are game actor 3, which should be fire. Perfect. So we just have to figure out, where did we have this text? Where did we have that? Fire spell. Okay, so this is lined up with that, and it is 8 from the top. Alright, let's figure that out. I gotta zoom in. Actually, let's do this. Not surround. Okay. Okay, so then that, not that. Perfect. Okay, fire, and then it's... So we want to do the game actor 3's name, and then we show that. DMG space, and then we need game variables dot value, whatever that variable is. What is that variable? The variable would be, got all these mods, which we do not need anymore, so that's good. We can get rid of those. But let's do, where was it again? Vitality, dexterity, luck. Does I have that all the way down here? Card suits. Okay, there we go. So fire damage, earth damage, water damage, poison damage. So fire damage. 1061. Okay, so you are going to be variable 1061. Which is still 0, but we come out here and we say in here, control variables, set 1061 to 1. Come in here, we go to spellbook. There we go. Fire, damage, 1. Perfect. Okay, so that is that figured. So then that way, it doesn't matter what we do. So if we change fire to fireball, we come in here, we go to the spellbook, it's now fireball, damage is 1. Okay, so all of that can be changed. All we have to do is rename those characters. Well, characters. They're basing off of character names. Then we can change that to whatever we want, and it'll change the name of that. So as you level up, you can have better spells. So you'd have like flicker, I don't know. But we could come in here, and with fireball, we can just change you to fire. So you can do something like, here in the profile, we can do flicker would be level 1. Fireball would be level 2. Inferno. Meteor. And I don't know, nuclear. I don't know. We'll figure out better spell names, but so you'd have your 5 spells, right? Your levels. And so then we would just go in here. So this would be like just a spot for us to remember what they are. So as you level up, flicker, fireball, inferno, meteor, nuclear. Okay, so that's good with that. Now let's create we need these guys, the gauges. So how are we gonna do the gauges? Well, that is a great question. Let's come down here. So we're just gonna grab from you to you. I mean, we already have the back, but we should make it anyway. So you are, oh boy. There we go. Okay, so you are going to be saved into some random dude, HUD, gauge backs. We're going to do spell XP back. And then over here, we're going to grab this. So this will basically be when it's filled in. Go. And instead of the gauge backs, we will do gauge images. And this will be spell XP fire. Okay. Perfect. And then if we come over here, pull that up, we'll go to F12, hide everything else. So we're going to create a image gauge, create new. Let's really quickly go to spellbook because we are going to, on this one, grab that condition so that it hides it if you are not in your spellbook. There we go. We are, so it's going to show. Then we do spell XP fire, spell XP back. There we go. Okay, and then we just need to have it not surround. Let's use the arrow keys to try and get this close to space. Fantastic. Now this is going to be based off of the game variables.value of 1000, what would it be, 66? 1066, maybe? Variables, fire experience, yes. 1066. Okay. Nope. 1069. I don't know why I was thinking 1066. 1069. Okay. So 1069. With the max value being 20. Because as you're, merging the D20s, you can only be up to 20. So we refresh that. That now switches to that. But come in here and we say 1069. If we can scroll all the way to the bottom. Okay, 1069. If we say that there's a D20 set to a 4 in there, there we go. It'll look like that. And it'll fill up over time until it maxes out. Perfect. Yeah. Sorry. In my head, I was thinking, okay, that'll work for that. But then what about this gauge, right? So basically, we come over here. So we've got that gauge. Let's clone it. And then let's set this to relative so we can snap it to that. Get it in place. So that if we were to say the fire experience value is 1069, and let's say it needs to be equal to 40, because you would have had this be 20. Excuse me. I'm okay. I'm alive. If you were to set it to 40, logic would dictate, but it's now filling up just slower. It's just taking more time. So I was like, crap, how are we going to figure that? But easy enough. Game variables 1069 minus 20. There we go. So that way, you're in here, you're at 1069. So even if this is all the way up to 19, this one's almost all the way full. That still has nothing. Then if we come over here and we set it to 20, that is full, still nothing. And then if we come over here, set it to 20, well, just 21. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. It starts. What do we do? So 30 should be halfway. Oh, of course. Since we're subtracting 20 from that already, we don't want to say 40. We're just still going to say 20 here. There we go. Yes. Yes. Now I kind of... All right. How are we going to do this? So I kind of want this little pop-up here to be a single pixel. I don't want it cut in half, because that technically is the center spot. But I don't want it to be like that. So if we come over here and we say 1069, but if we do minus 19, yeah, that's not going to work. So minus 20, what if we do, say, plus 0.5? That still is a little weird. $0.75? I think that's right. We're going to say, let's not worry about that for now. Let's just focus on the minus 20. Good enough. Good enough. Okay, so that's how we're going to do these gauges. So let's keep going in here. Let's pull this back up. So this gauge, we're going to clone you, snap it there, move it over until it is centered. And we'll do 1069 minus 40. Max value is 20. There we go. And then clone it one more time. Center it in here. Yeah. We'll do this, minus 60. Okay. So then as it's filling up, it'll fill up each one individually. Perfect. Okay, so that's good. Now, all we need to do is say, let's grab first dungeon. Let's grab you. So you're showing a dice. So we're going to say control variables set backpack slot 1 to 1 and backpack slot 1 type to 1. So this should give me a red 1 dice. Should. All right, there we go. Perfect. The only other thing is we then have to come back over here to the test dungeon. This is the dice move script, which we will need that. That's if loaded graphics is on. We won't worry about that. Picked up, released, level up. We can delete that. Okay. So with that script, we should be able to move the dice around. Perfect. We do want to get rid of that, though, because I don't want to be putting dice on the ground. So let's do picked up 3-3 current room. We don't need to be able to pick up from current room. So let's get rid of that. Okay. And then this is if you are, so we can get rid of that. Okay. Yes. Good. All right. Can't put anything in the room. Yes, you can. Okay, released. Backpack slot. 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, 1 4, 1 5, 1 6, 1 7, 8, 9. Backpack slot 9. Okay, so you got current room 1. We don't need to do that. Room 1. Current room 2. Room item 2. Adding to player vitality. Adding to player dexterity, attack, luck. So I think at this point we just need all of you guys. Yes, so we'll cut that. And we'll come back in here because RPG Maker goes a little bit crazy when you have this much stuff in here. So current room item 1, we can get rid of that to that. And then paste you in the else handler. And then that should be good. So we should be able to move that around still. Perfect, but we can't put it down here. Okay. So if we open up the spell book, there we go. Okay, so now we just need to make it so I can pick this up and put this over. Oh, crap, I forgot about that. All right, we're going to need to fix that sooner rather than later because that's going to look very janky. But now I need to make it so you can pick this up and put it in here. Yes. Let's do that. So, picked up, released. So this is if released and spellbook are on. This is just allowing you to move everything around your inventory, which we need. This is if you let go. It'll snap it back to an inventory slot. We can actually get rid of all of these. Make that a little bit more clean. Okay, so then we say if you are released. 2 3 3 2 3 3. Yes, then here's the else. So let's add a comment. Adding dice to spellbook. All right, And then let's grab this. So this is going to allow us to make sure you're within those bounds. Conditional branch, script. Okay, so if the mouse is, let's check over here. We can delete that. We can delete that. Okay, so if the mouse is within these bounds, 272 and 8. So 272 and 8. And if the mouse is within, down here, 1008, 448. 1008. Ooh. And 448. So it will be a very large bounding box, but again, we're going for as least tedious as possible. So let's do, okay, so if you release and you are in there, then all we need to do is just say conditional branch. If the variable dice type picked up is equal to 1. So if you are a fire dice, now we still have to also make sure, crap. So the reason I'm saying crap is, so the dice, okay, so we want to make sure it's the right type. So right here, we're just saying, okay, if you are a fire dice, this is what's happening. If you have picked up a fire dice and you drop it anywhere within the spell book, it's going to do this, right? But after that, we need to do a conditional branch because we need to make sure that it's the same value. So conditional branch, if dice picked up is equal to fire experience. This will work fine for the first slot, right? So this is just making sure, actually, so 18 and 1069. So 18, 1069. So what we can do, actually, is say, if game variables dot value, if 18, if 1069. So if the variable 1069 is equal to 0, so that means you haven't put anything in there yet, it can accept any value you want. So if you're equal to 0, or if the game variables dot value 18 is equal to game variables dot value 1069. Okay, so yeah, so it's just checking, is it empty, or is what you're holding the same as what's in there? Yes, that's what we need. So let's come over here really quick. So we want to grab a second one of these. We're going to say in the safe room, let's do this, and we're going to say backpack slot 2 is equal to 1. The backpack slot 2 type is equal to 1. We're going to have 2 level 1 fire dice. Let's also, just so we can also, all right, we just want to be able to test everything. So then we're also going to say backpack slot number 3. Welcome back, Jesse. How was your lunch? And backpack slot type is also a 1. This way I can test the merging. Well, we can't merge yet, though. Because literally all we have said is just, yeah, we haven't actually done anything yet. So down here. Okay, so if you're within the spell book bounding box, and if the dice type picked up is equal to 1, so this means it's a fire dice, then it's just saying if you're either equal to 0, if the fire spell is level 1, well, level 0, or if what you've picked up is equal to the value of the level, the fire spell level or experience. Then we can do things. So, we need one more conditional branch. There are so many of these. So if the variable fire experience, are we gonna need fire level anymore? I don't think so. Jesse says it was pretty good, mostly leftovers, but always good to hang out with my wife. Yeah, that is always a good time. So are you able to go home for lunch, or do you work from home pretty often? So we're going off of fire experience, not level. So fire experience equals. So if the fire experience is. Okay, we need something else. We need game variables dot value 1069 is greater than or equal to 0, and if the variable 1069 is less than or equal to 20. So this is specifically saying if the dice, so if this fire spell, its experience is anywhere between 0 and 20, then it will go here. And then the next one's going to be if it's equal to or greater than 21, but less than or equal to 40, and so on and so forth. That way we can set specific things, so it doesn't matter where you're hovering in here, it then takes into account where it should snap the dice. So for example, what we're going to start working on is it will always snap it right here. So let's do, when it snaps to there, we're going to say, oh, that's right. Okay. Jesse says, I work from home pretty much full time. Most of my team is in Boston, so I was able to avoid a return to office. That is always nice. Because driving an hour to hop on a web conference is dumb. Yeah, that would be really dumb. Honestly, working from home, I don't get why more places don't do it. Yeah, especially like corporate office type stuff. It should be almost exclusively work from home. So that's awesome. Good. I'm glad that it went well. Glad that it was a good lunch. Leftovers are always fun. It's probably what I'm going to have for lunch here in a little bit. Okay, so this is taking into account if 1069 is equal to 0, or... So this is where we can have the else handler. Right? Because this is saying if the level is equal to 0, or if what you are holding is equal to that. But if it's not, then we need to snap back. Which all it does is backpack slot 3, else find empty slot. So yeah, so you on the else handler, you can just jump to find empty slot if you don't match. But if you do, then you need to check and see. Yes. So then you are EXP 0 through 20. Okay. Yes. 0 through 20. Perfect. So if you are 0 through 20, what do we want to do? This is if you are matching. So backpack slot 9 equals dice picked up. Yeah. Okay. We're also going to need to show a lot of pictures. I'm just now remembering / realizing. So that's 5. So we need 20 pictures. Should be doable. That should be doable. Because each one of these dice is going to be a picture, right? So, yeah. So let's take this into account. So when you click, we're going to need over here. So if you click Spellbook and it turns on Spellbook, then, so not only does it need to turn on this switch and show that, it also needs to do a lot of conditional branches. Crap. That's fine. We're just going to do one for now, though. So, conditional branch. If game variables dot value 1069 is greater than or equal to 1, or if game variables dot value 1069 is less than or equal to 20. This is basically just saying, hey, do you have a dice in this slot? If you do, then we need to show the picture. We'll come over here. We're just going to say you. So we're showing... because that's an if. That's already in the if statement. Should we do that to reduce on code? We might actually do that. Yep, let's just do that. So we're going to copy you. And then in here, get rid of that. So this is going to handle its own if, handler. So if 1069 is greater than or equal to 1, or if 1069 is less than or equal to 20, then do this. So show picture 11. Where are we going to start showing these pictures? So the inventory, we may also want to have that on the screen, the shop. So let's do this. Let's utilize the fog layers, which is the map is 50 through 92. So let's start at 50. So you are going to show picture 50. You're going to show dice. Well, we can just do dice 1 dash plus 1069 up to a certain point. Because that is going to keep just leveling up. Well, we'll figure that out eventually. So eventually we will probably need to have an extra, we're going to have an if else, right? So it'll basically be if 1069, let's just do this now. If you're equal to that, yada, yada, yada. Let's move that down to there. Let's do then game screen show picture layer 50 dice 1 dash 1069. And here's the X and Y coordinates. So you need to show at fire dice. So you're showing at 340 and 78. 340 and 78. 100, 100, 255. Blah, 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 blah. And then we need to have else. What would it be? Else if... crap. 2 seconds. JS. Else if. Can't remember exactly how I need to have that. So if, else. Okay, so it is just set up like that. So else if, and then I have my second condition, and then I have open, close. Okay, so easy enough. So this is just if the variable is between 1 and 20. And then else if the variable 1069 is greater than 20, then we are going to show picture this guy. But instead of working off a variable, you're just going to be 1-20 because I already know that you're going to be maxed out. We don't need to worry about the variable. Okay. That should be what we need. It's a lot of ifs and elses and all that fun stuff. I'm hoping to reduce that a little bit because, I mean, what was that, 5 lines of code for one picture? Especially if you multiply that by 20. It's a lot, but okay. So that shows the picture when you open the spellbook. I'll worry about erasing. Well, we can just do that for now. We'll just erase picture 50. Eventually, I will need to change that. Now we're good. Okay, so let's come back in here. So when you're releasing in the adding dice to spellbook, so if you're in the bounds of the box, and if dice picked up is equal to 1, that means you're holding a fire dice. And then if 1069 is equal to 0, or if 18 is equal to 1069. So this is basically saying is in slot 1 equal to? No. Is what you're holding equal to slot 1? If it is, then check and see if 1069 is greater than or equal to 0, and if you are less than or equal to 20. If you are, then we need to... I should have grabbed that freaking code. Why didn't I do that? If you are, then we're going to show game screen picture. There we go. Okay, let's come over here. Released. 3. There we go. Okay. So then in here, we're going to do script. Okay, so then show picture 50, dice 1 dash 1069. We don't want to do 1069. We need to do 18. So showing whatever you are holding. So variable 18 at 340 by 78, blah, blah, blah. There we go. So that'll show the picture. And then this will... Oh, no. We don't want to show the picture. We first need to move picture number 99 to center at, what was that? Whoa, what was that again? 340, 78. 340 and 78. So you're going to move over there in, I don't know, 10 frames. You're going to wait. When you get there, then you're going to show picture number 50. Let's go with 105, 105. Okay. And then we're going to erase picture 99. And we're going to move picture 50 down to 100. That just kind of like does like a little pop animation. Okay. And then we need to take care of the actual variables themselves. So then we do control variables. And then fire experience plus dice picked up. And then we say control variables, dice picked up is going to equal 0. Okay. I believe that should allow me to move one of these dice from the inventory to the spell book. So let's pick this up. I come over here. There we go. What is trying to load dice 1-1? I'm in 1-0. What is trying to show 1-0? Show the dice. Is it this? Is this the problem? So it moves the picture 99. Let's do like 5 frames though. It moves 5 frames, snaps over there. And then it shows picture 50. That is right? Variable 18, dice picked up. Then it shouldn't do any of that until later. Yes, okay. Just want to make sure. So if I check in here, variable 18 is equal to 0. I pick you up, it should be equal to 1. What have I done? Ooh, that's actually something else I did not consider. I did not consider that. So down here, adding to the spell. Well, no, that's only if... Oh, that's right. That's what it is. Okay. Okay. So copy that, paste that. You are just if released is on. But if released and spellbook is on, do that. Okay. So then come down here. We need to get rid of you. So let's cut all of you. Let's delete you. Put you there. Okay. So if you're not in the spellbook, I don't know why I didn't think of that. If you're not in the spellbook, it snaps back to the inventory slots that you picked that up from. But if you're in the spellbook, you can still do that. But okay. So if we come over here and we Okay. There's something going on here. So if 1069 is greater than or equal to 1, or, no, not or, and. You're greater than or equal to 1, and. Yeah, and. So you need to be greater than 1 and less than 20. Somewhere in there. Not or, and. Whew, that was the first mistake. Then, show picture 50. I think that was actually the mistake. I think it's because I said or instead of and. So if I come over here, switch to spell books, because there's nothing to show. It shouldn't show anything. Let's wait for a little bit. Let's make sure that it doesn't error out. Trying to show picture dice 1-0. Okay. Okay, good. Then, we come over here, we pick this up, and if we drop it in here anywhere, it should snap to right here. Snaps. There we go. It is now there. Ugh. Why? Still trying to show picture 1-0. Why? What is trying to show picture 1-0? You're released. Then you should be turning off released. Should I just not worry about this yet? And do I move this to up there? So that you're showing 1069? Maybe? Switch to spellbook. I can move you around, right? Everything's fine there. Come over here. Why? What? What? What just happened there? Okay, so you're obviously trying to jump to an empty spot. So it's this spot right here. But that's not right. That's not right at all. So we just have you there. So, because if you're not anywhere in there, then else you just need to find the empty slot. Dice picked up equals 1. And then if 1069 is equal to 0, or 18, so dice picked up is equal to that. So long as the slot is empty and or what you've picked up is equal to the slot. But it should still, because if it's not, then I want it to go back. So the question is, why would it be doing that though? Why would it be adding to the inventory again? So if I go like this, it shouldn't create a new dice over there, but it does. I think I need to jump to end. That's right. Okay. I have that to skip over the code. Because basically, once it runs through all of this, it just goes through all of that again. So what it needs to do is after all of this. So, okay, so that's slot 3 through. Okay, no. We need to come to released on spellbook 3-3. Okay. So then, if you're adding to it, so if you match all of that and you're good to go, jump to end, because end will then take you here, which just erases pictures, zeroes out variables, turns off switches, good to go. So come over here, go to spellbook, come over here, blam, adds to that, doesn't put anything back in here. And if I come over here, we should make it 2. There we go. I can still move that around. Everything's good to go. And then if I come over here, it's not going to add because they're not the same, so it should snap back to the inventory slot. Yes. Okay. Perfect. For you. Now, let's test this. We come in here. If we merge those, and it's a 2, and we come in here. Kablam. All right. Perfect. Okay, well, that is fantastic. That's working. Now, the one thing that we'll need to change is if we are basing the spells off of how many dice you've merged in. Do we need all those other variables still? Because right now, we have quite a few variables for these spells. So we have the fire damage, the level, and the experience. Level does not really mean anything anymore, because... but neither does really damage either. Because if every single time you add a dice to it... yeah, if every time you add a dice to it, it's just leveling up, and that's what it is. And I don't think we need damage. Well, we don't need level or experience. We can literally just do damage. Yeah, because if every time you put a dice here, it increases the damage by 1. It makes it very simplistic, which is fine. It will make balancing a little difficult, but I think it should be okay. The only problem is going to be now, once you max out your spells, if you draw 5 cards and you're doing 100 damage per card, that's 500 damage you're doing. I didn't want the monsters to get to that point. But I also don't want you leveling up your spells to feel so pointless and monotonous, because when you're getting up to like 10s in dice, like you can level up pretty quickly in the beginning, right? If you have a full inventory just full of a bunch of 1s, you can level that crap up real fast. It's when you start getting into like the 10s and above that it's going to just take so much longer to level up your spells. So, I think we will just kind of keep it like this. But, again, we're going to get rid of levels and experience. We're just going to switch it for now. I don't think we're going to get rid of it, just in case I have some kind of epiphany and I'm like, this is how we should do the spells. But I think for now, it's just going to be, you will have your fire damage. So, 1061. So, with that, let's do... That's just the dice move. This is the released on spellbook. Okay, so anywhere that it says 1069, I need to set it to say 1061. So 1061 is equal to 0, or 18 is equal to 1061. 1061 is greater than 0, and 1061 is less than that. 1061. Okay. Alright, that should be good for that. And let's go to the initialization. Okay. 1061 is equal to 1, and 1061 is less than or equal to 20. 50 show that variable value 1061. And then if 1061 is greater than 20, then show dice 120. Okay, that should be all I needed to do to update that. So, with that, we should now be able to come over here. But, there shouldn't be a dice in there already. Oh wait, there would be, because your damage is 1 already. Okay, alright, that actually worked exactly how I should be. Okay, we're fine. Everything's good. So if we come over here, it should be a 2. I think I know why. Come over here, released in spellbook. Come down here, spellbook. Switch showing the pictures based off of... 1061. I knew I missed something. I knew I had to miss one. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's test that out. Let's realize I should full screen that. Okay, so we'll open up spellbook. You've got 1 in there because you're going to do 1 fire damage. And then if we drag this over here, that should be a 2. There we go. And then if we close the spellbook and come back, it should be a 2. Yes, it is. And then if we try to do a 1, it's not going to do it. But if we merge those and then we do that, now it's a 4. All right, how am I doing that? Yeah, so we don't want to merge it. We do not want to merge it. That's the 1 plus 1. Okay, I knew I was doing something just a little bit too simple. So this is saying if crap. That should be fine, actually. Yeah, that'll be all right. So we just need to have one more script call, I believe. This is just saying if the fire damage is greater than 0 and picked up is equal to fire damage. Okay, so really we just need to say fire damage plus 1. Really, that's what we need to do. So come over here, you're 1, now you should be 2. And if we come over here, oh, that's right. Come over here, you're now 3. Okay, that was easy. That was super simple. And freaking tastic. So now your fire spell would do 3 damage. So every time you draw a fire card, 3 damage. Yes. Okay, now We just need to figure out all the rest of this. It should be fine. It should be all right. We also want to figure out... Okay, let's do this. Let's come over here. We're not going to finish this today. So we've created the spellbook system. Build out fire spell progress. We're like... Okay, so the spellbook system, I could say we've created. We've got build out fire spell progress. Build out earth spell progress. Build out water spell progress. And build out poison spell progress. Okay, so once we get the fire spell progress finished, it should be pretty quick and easy to swap out. Let's move that down to here. Right now, we're just going to be actively building out the fire spell progress, which again will not be finished today because there's still quite a bit more we have to do. But we are making progress. Because right now, you can open the spell book, it'll show the dice, which we can just copy all of that over to these guys. We'll just alter a few numbers here and there. And then the only other thing we need to do is we need to say, I must do this. Let's add that. So, come over here, pull this guy up. If dice picked up is greater than spell book dice, swap dice. So I already have all of that built out in a way. So let's do that. I think that's going to be the last thing we work on today, is so that it swaps out if the dice you have picked up is greater than. So let's come over here. Let's do over here. So you. So I think we need to have an else handler. Well, there already is an else handler on here. So if you are either equal to 0, which you will never be. Yes, you'll never be, so we don't need that, but we'll keep it. So if 18 is equal to 1061, then do that. But in the else handler, so if it's not, what we're going to do is say, initial branch, if 18 is greater than 1061. So this is if I've picked up a level 4 fire dice, and the current level in the skill tree is level 2, I don't want to be able, I don't want to say, oh, well, you can't do anything with that because it's too high of a level. That would suck. So we want it to replace it. So what we're going to do is, if you are greater than that, then the comment is just picked up is greater than. Okay, so if it's picked up is greater than, what we want to do is move the picture to there. We want to set fire damage. We want to set it, though. We want to set it to whatever you have picked up. So set it to 18. So if your dice picked up is 20, then we'll do that. We will have to make some adjustments once we get further along, like once we get into slots 2, 3, 4, and 5. But for now, it will just set the fire damage to dice picked up. And then we want to show picture 50 is that. And then we want to show picture 99 because we need to swap those around. How are we doing that on these other ones? Oh, that was on the stats that I was doing that crap. Okay, so let's do... So we need to have another variable. We need to have 3 variables going right here. So we need to set fire damage is, let's do this. This will be called the spell swap variable. Okay, so set spell swap variable to fire damage. So that's now equal to that. Fire damage is now equal to dice picked up, and then dice picked up is now equal to spell swap variable. Yeah, so they're kind of all just like shifting and trading. So that way, the dice that's now set down is what the picked up was. And then the picked up now is what the spell swap variable, or what the fire damage was. So it's kind of allowing me to like just swap those two, but there's that there's the middleman variable. It's the middleman variable. Yes, so there we go. It's the middleman variable. Perfect. Okay, so that we can then set picture 50 to equal 1061. So that'll be the new higher number. And then show picture layer number 99. Set this one to whatever 18 is. Okay. And then we will move. Let's actually just do. Oh yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. And then we'll move picture 50 with no wait time to that. And then we need to find an empty slot. So that way, whatever the player was holding is now the lower number, and then that lower number is now moving back to what you had picked up. I think that should work. So if we come in here, we open the spell book, you're level 1. So if I were to merge a level 1 into here, it would merge, it's now level 2. Perfect. If we come over here, and if we have a level 2, and we try and put it into level 1, what it should do, so from right here, this is where I picked it up, it should place this level 2 here, swap out the level 2 with a level 1, and move the level 1 there. Let's see if that works. Perfect. That is exactly what I wanted to see. Fan-freaking-tastic. And then if I pick this up, try and put it here, it can't merge because it's a 1, and this is a level 2. If we merge these, level 3. Yes! Oh, man. All right, that feels good. That is fantastic. I'm glad that that's working. As janky as it looks with that little thing that covers the dice, as janky as that looks, I am just so happy that that's working. Whew. There we go. Swaps it out. Whoop. Then we level that up, and there we go. Feels good, man. Feels good. Okay, perfect. So we can come in here. We can now say we got if dice picked up is greater than the spellbook dice, swap dice. That's good. Okay, well, I think, like I said, I think we're going to call that good for today. So tomorrow, we're going to finish building out the spell progress. So basically, we just need to make it so that not only can you make this level 20, but then once this is level 20, you can then keep building out your spells more and more and more, make them stronger, 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 all that fun stuff. So that'll be a tomorrow thing. I'm hoping that we can copy a lot of the same code that we have now. We probably will need a couple more branches and all that fun stuff once we start getting into this stuff, because we're going to have to take into account not only what this value is, but then that value. And then when we're doing this one, it'll be not only what this and this value is, but this one. So a few more if statements, but nothing we can't handle. So, yeah, I think that's good. And then once we get that all figured out, then it'll be easy enough for us to go in and just basically copy and paste the code here, 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 and make it so you can have your earth, water, poison, bada bing, bada boom. And then, yeah, that'll increase the player damage. You'll then have a purpose to having the dice, and you'll have a purpose to buying and selling dice. Feels good. I'm glad it's actually working. It's not exactly how I was envisioning it, but without much time on the drawing board, I feel like this looks okay. It'll work. It'll be fun, I think. I hope. Better be fun. So, anyway. Yeah. So, I think that's good. I think we're going to call that good. So, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the progress, let me know whether just in the chat or if you're watching the VOD afterwards. I don't think you can leave comments on Twitch, but if you're on YouTube, let me know what you thought about it. I'll be coming back tomorrow, same time, same place. And yeah, if you also I guess if you enjoyed it, make sure to follow/subscribe. And yeah, we will be tackling more tomorrow, taking care of hopefully all 4 of these. And then we will continue building out the safe room. So should be a good time. All right. Well, hope everyone has a great rest of their days, or a great evening, wherever you are in your day. Hope you have a great rest of whatever it is. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. What? Oh, raid. Let's go on a raid. That is a fantastic idea, actually. Let's go on a raid. Should we take a peek around, see what the software and development's looking like on Twitch? That is a great point. Thank you for pointing that out, Claire Like a Cat. Twitch.tv. Let's see what we got over here. Oh, that's me. Well, let's see. Looks like no one that I'm following is live, except for Pirate Software. But I don't think I can raid him. And I highly doubt that I can raid him. Developer Ezra, unfortunately, offline. Maybe is offline. Critical Role is offline. Tragic. Okay, well let's do this. Browse software and game development. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if anything catches our eyes. Co-working with Lo-Fi. Yeah, clip generator. Let's see if we have a better time raiding than we did last time. Because last time we tried to raid, none of it worked. So, let's see. Does anyone here? Let's see. Chill vibes. Testing transparency. Java. Playing rock and roll racing. Lunch break. What are you? Twitch event. Sub library again. I made a blue sky too. All right. All right. And if anyone has any thoughts or suggestions, let me know. Yeah, I would imagine over on YouTube, probably not the most exciting. So I think I'm going to end YouTube here, and then for all of us over here on Twitch, we're going to go raid. So yeah, YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Jesse, you are awesome. Let's see, I didn't see Sin today, but Tossin, I know that you have probably gone to sleep already, so hope you're having a good sleep. But yeah, Jesse, I appreciate you, and everybody else who's in the stream, thank you. And yeah, we'll see you all on YouTube tomorrow.